When my mother and I went to Disney World last year, one of the last rides we went on was Splash Mountain. My mother was kind of dreading it because she doesn't like wet rides. But we had fun, and I was singing aloud two of the songs. But before we went on, I was curious, and I asked my mother, "Hey, do you know the movie this is from?" And she had no idea. She didn't know there was a movie. She didn't know anything about the ride except, the famous song and the wetness. And true to the form, probably not a lot of people do know about it. The origins of Splash Mountain, of the real Zippin' Doo Dah Day. The characters are Brer Rabbit, Brer Fox, Brer Bear, and what it all stems from. Those of you who are watching these videos probably already know this, but I'll say it anyway. Long ago, there was a movie called Song of the South, where a freed slave tells these white kids stories about Brer Rabbit escaping Brer Fox and Brer Bear. And as you can imagine, it's kind of racist. To be honest, I've never seen the film myself. It hasn't been released on video, and it's extremely hard to get hold of. However, you can understand the implications and the awkwardness that must have come out of it. I wouldn't be surprised if it was very racist, but again, it's hard to tell without seeing it. So the problem is, without seeing it, since it's unavailable to most people nowadays, what can we really do about Splash Mountain? The ride will never go away, that's honest. That's obvious. And it's still a loved tradition. But how do you explain Splash Mountain without explaining its origins? This is something I thought of recently, and I honestly think the best thing for Disney to do at some point is to release, maybe not a new film, maybe direct to TV, maybe direct to video, direct to something. Not a full-length movie, perhaps, but a new cartoon at the very least, giving backstory or an explanation for the ride. Since most Disney rides and attractions are based on films. Not all of them, admittedly. But I think this one probably needs it the most. I think there could be a way to create a short film about these characters, about these situations, without being racist. I honestly believe that. Okay, so I'm kind of like finding difficult words to say because this is a very sensitive issue. Of course it is. It's racism. And as a white person, I really have I don't want to say no control because I obviously have control as a white person. I want to say I have no business maybe interfering in this kind of thing because white people have screwed up so much. How much more can we really do? But again, these are just my opinions. So to get back on track, I would like to see someday Disney try to tackle this issue, maybe put it to bed once and for all. I can see why it would be difficult to do. In some ways, Song of the South is a classic, and people might be reluctant to do it over, but it's still something that needs to be handled. If you have a past shame, you should improve upon it. You should work on it. You should remember why it was a shame and better yourself for it. If you remember my other video where I said it's okay to call out Disney for when they make mistakes, and this was a mistake probably for the time. Again, it's probably hard to say given what I haven't seen, but given the time it was made, given the thoughts that were made during the time, given the attitude, given the politics, it probably isn't a very easy film to sit through. I have heard a rumor the black actor in the movie wasn't even allowed to go see it. So, there's that. So, is there a way to make a short film, with these characters without coming off as still racist? Yes, I think so. These are still good characters, if you take them apart. And they've actually had comic book series for quite a while. They were pretty popular, And again, they didn't stick to race. They just stuck to a little bunny gets in trouble and uses his wits to get out of it. Simple as that. So, I don't think we really need to go any farther than that. We can remove the tar babies of the time. We can remove all racist connotations. If we just focus on a bunch of animals getting into trouble and playing pranks and being silly, I think we can make a genuine, honest film and hopefully bury the past once and for all. These are just my thoughts on a ride. They may not come to fruition, but I thought may as well say them. Splash Mountain will always be a staple of Disney. It will still remain one of the best and my personal favorite ride. Well, not my favorite. There's too many on the list. They're all fantastic rides, but this is still a really fun ride. And not just for the water, but for the twists and turns, for the characters that sing. It says a good story, and it's just a very feel-good ride. It's fun. I would just like to see what happens before and after the ride. Maybe give kids something to think about. So I'll wrap this up before I make it any more awkward, and just leave it as something to think about, which I know I already said. So you should think about it twice.